Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So a lot of you have been asking me either in private messages or in stream or in comments what I think about the new featured 6-star hero crystal. And obviously I have been struggling with some illness recently, and I'm getting better, so I'm gonna try and pump out a whole bunch of videos in upcoming couple of days to kind of catch up on the topics that I missed out on and on the topics that I feel are worth talking about. But since this just happened, and since a lot of you are out there wondering about what I think about this crystal, we're gonna start here. On top of that, I should, hopefully, should everything happen according to the plan, also make another video about a tool. It's going to work similar to how the which class Nexus 6-star you should have chosen from Summer of Pain Excel spreadsheet did. Where basically we're going to put in all the objectively good outcomes for you, and you're going to see the percentage of chance, and therefore by extension which crystal has higher chance to give you what you want, basically, whether it's basic 6-star crystals or featured 6-star crystals, considering the difference in cost. But that video should be coming hopefully later today, maybe tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at this crystal in general from kind of a generic point of view. So, start from the bottom where most of the featured champions lie, which is Penny Parker, Hercules, America Chavez, Spider-Man 2099. Now, out of this entire set of featured champions, it also includes Overseer and Purgatory. Think the real W's are Penny Parker and Hercules. I think those are fantastic pulls that a lot of people will not have access to. And then I think that Spider-Man 2099 is not a great champion, but there is still some value to be had in his ability not to gain buffs. Apparently, he is also very good against certain Alliance war bosses because he takes 75% less damage if opponent has True Strike. And that works against every single Alliance war boss. So there could be something behind there. We haven't seen much of him yet, but, you know, hopefully something comes off it. And then Overseer in general is a relatively high prestige champion that, you know, gets placed in Alliance war defense. And even though he's not the best quality champion, I also think that there is something a little bit there. So I'm going to count those 4 champions as relative W's, and I'm going to count America Chavez and Purgatory as duds, because they're really not that great. They're quite fun. Purgatory has amazing animations, and Chavez, you know, is quite enjoyable to play, but they're just bad champions, objectively. Then we have Gwenpool, which is not really great. Nothing you would want to pay 15,000 6-star shots for. And then we have Iceman, Starking Hand, Spider-Man, and Medusa. All 3 of those are extremely rare 6-star champions, which immediately gives this crystal, at the very least, moderate amount of value. So currently we are at about 7 champions that I would consider to be good pulls. Because, well, Medusa, Starkey, and Iceman, they would be new for almost everybody. And getting new 6-stars is always good. Not to mention that Medusa, Starkey, and Iceman all still can have some uses as well. Now, recently buffed Thor Ragnarok, which, just FYI, I still think is a third of a champion, but with a beast of a prestige. I know that there's going to be a lot of clips and a lot of comments. Oh my god, Thor's so good. Thor is so good after you get 40 hits done. Average fight in this game lasts about 40 hits. For the first 40 hits, Thor is exactly the same as Iron Patriot or Superior Iron Man or some shitty champion like that. He doesn't have any abilities in his base kit until he gets his power gain or 40 hits and stuff like that. And, well, quite frankly, it's too late then. You need something on a kit before that. People who compare him with Magneto, in my opinion, are mental, because Magneto does so much before he gets to level 3, and he doesn't necessarily have to get to level 3. You can still launch off a level 1, level 2, and do tons of damage. And on his base kit, immediately he reduces opponent ability accuracy and has all these other benefits that are non-existent in Thor's kit. In general, I think that Thor's buff, you know, did what it set out to do. It increased his damage, but nobody's going to use him for anything, really. Don't think people are going to use him for... Anyways, that might be a separate video, but I'm gonna say that Prestige is still there, so there's value. Rogue, I like her, but she's not really the greatest. Then we have Nebula, which I think is actually quite an underrated champion. Venompool recently buffed. Quite good, very solid alternative to Venom. I'm not gonna necessarily say he's better than Venom, but he is quite good Cosmic Champion now. Diabolord, absolutely amazing pull, and Human Torch. And I think that is what kind of put this crystal over the top, because Diablo and Human Torch are some of the most important champions in their respective classes right now, in my opinion, depending what kind of masteries you run and stuff like that. Then we have Karnak, X23, and War Machine. War Machine is also, in my opinion, somehow underrated and quite good. He's not Odin or anything like that in terms that he can only use his pre-fights on his tech class. So I don't think he's as good as, like, let's say, Mr. Fantastic. But I do think that War Machine, again, represents decent amount of value. Gamora's buff, unfortunately, was complete fail. Therefore, Gamora is just eh. Guillotine's buff is something we will talk about more on this channel, but that situation needs to be addressed. Miles is actually a buff that I do like, not because I think he's an amazingly insane champion day to day, but because I do think that he has a very valuable niche utility in his ability to always basically phase unblockable attacks, and he might not necessarily be a champion that you want to play all day, every day, but he might be a champion that's a bit more similar to Ronan. You know, if he works, if opponent has a lot of unblockables, then he's probably going to be one of the, if not the best options to go for. And I like that. Therefore, I think that Miles is a good pull for most accounts these days. Then we have a couple of duds. So overall, if we do the count, I think I counted about 12 pulls that I would be what I would consider good champions with value in them, which would be Penny Parker, Hercules, Spider-Man 2099, Iceman, Starkey, Medusa, Overseer, Thor Ragnarok, Venompool, Diablo, Human Torch, War Machine, Miles, and potentially Nebula. So, all in all, I do think this is a decently good featured 6-star crystal. Don't think it's bad or abysmal. I think it obviously could have been better. There's also a reasonable chance that some of the champions in this crystal are yet to get buffed, because this crystal is going to be around for 3 months, and quite often they put featured champions in a crystal that are to be buffed. So I do think that there is that possibility as well. Overall, in between having Hercules, Thor Ragnarok, and Overseer, which are some of the highest prestige champions in there, and then obviously having Hercules as a champion with his abilities himself, Penny, Human Torch, Diablo, Starkey, Medusa, Iceman. I think it's a solid crystal with a decent chance of gamble. Overall, my rule of thumb is that you should not be going for featured crystals until you get like 60 something 6-star champions on your account. Initially, it is much more important, in my opinion, to raise the width of your roster and get as many 6-stars as possible. And 6-star feature crystals still cost the 5,000 extra shards. So every time you open 2 of these, you could have opened 3 regular 6-star crystals. So I think as you're building your account, I do not recommend people opening featured 5 or 6-star crystals. But as you have gotten more established roster, then it genuinely depends on the amount of positive outcomes. I think it's a decent crystal. Obviously, a lot of you already know exactly what you want from it, or whether you don't want anything from it and have made your decision. But in my opinion, this crystal has enough good champions in it, with some of the most valued champions in the game for one reason or another, to warrant that 5,000 shard gamble. In between having 2 top 5 prestige champions, that is really valuable for anybody who cares about prestige. In between Thor, Ragnarok, and Hercules. In between having Human Torch, who is arguably the best science champion in the game right now, for alliance wars and, you know, plenty of tricky fights. and Diablo, who's just rising in popularity. And then there is also a very solid chance that with the new champions, with the recently unique added 6 stars in Medusa, Starkey, and Iceman, there's a pull that you should feel satisfied with. So yes, I do think that this 6-star featured crystal is quite alright. It's not perfect by any means, but it's good enough. And that is it. As I said, there should be another video coming quite soon where I go through the math and how you can calculate for yourself whether you should or should not be going for featured crystals in general, and specifically this one. Either way, I think we are done here for now, and I am going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about